My name is Valentino, and I'm a part of Hong Kong Programming Society, and I'm going to introduce you guys to Bytedance's VisActor. So, for those of you guys who don't know, VisActor is basically just this really elegant and nice way of presenting data. Right now, they've got all these options, as you can see here. They've got VChart, VTable for tables, VGrammar, all these fancy stuff, and I'm going to just be introducing you guys to VChart, which is this simple, lightweight, elegant way of just representing different types of data. So their documentation is actually pretty concise, which I'll put a link in the description. And basically, as you can see here, all you got to do is just import it and then, just turn it on, and then that's exactly how it'll work. Now, if you're still curious and, still want more information, it's entirely open source at their GitHub link right here. As you can see, if I open this up here, all of their code is entirely open source. You can read through it yourself if you want to, and very easy and very legible. So I'm going to show you guys a demonstration on how exactly to, get it to work on your device and whatnot. So here I've got a really basic index.html file, and now again, by the way, I'm using normal HTML and JavaScript to do this. I'm not going to use React or any of those frameworks. So here I'm going to just, name this, I don't know, maybe big card, just a regular title. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to link the CDN, right? So the link can be found in the documentation here. So I'm going to just copy that, or you better just press this, press that, paste that in, and I'm also going to want to link my normal script. Oops. So script.js. Basically what's that done is it's linked this script.js to the index.html file. And now what I'm also going to need is a little div, or just an element to actually store the chart. So I'm going to do div, and I'm going to name this chart, right? So now it's of ID chart. So now back to our script.js file, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to do, just make sure that the whole full website has actually loaded before I want to do anything. Now, this is entirely optional, but I like to just do this, just in case I don't want any errors or whatnot. So, add an event listener. Right. And so now all of this code will run once loaded. Alright, so now once the whole site has loaded, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to just want to, add in my graph, right? Now first, I got to define the data. So here, I'm going to just copy in the documentation fake data right here. So, this can just be any data. What you do need is you need the type. So this is gonna make a bar chart because it's bar. You can also do a line chart, a graph chart, a pie chart. All of that can be found in the documentation here. And then what I'm gonna want is I'm gonna want to actually define the data itself, right? So as you can see, it's got different values. So this is just like the actual values of the bar chart. So as you can see, there's month, that's the amount of sales. So, and then, for each day of the week, etc. So this here specifies which column will be the X field, and this specifies which column will be the Y field. All right. So, yep. Now you can just feel free to like change this to anything, right? So if you wanted to, do, I don't know, some sort of other type of bar chart data, you can always modify that later. I'll get into that a bit later. So right now, let's just focus on making the chart itself. Now what you're gonna then want to do is you're gonna first want to, create the actual VChart instance itself. So what I do is window dot, sorry, let's first, since this is a class, right? So we're gonna want to do window dot VChart dot default. Now you only use default if you're on CDN. If you're using React or something similar, then you don't need default here. But then once you've done that, you can do brackets, and this is basically just a class, and we're initializing it with a constructor. And so the first argument is spec, right? Now spec, this is just the data here, so the first argument is actually the data. Now what you're also going to want to do is, if you remember previously, we created this nice element here, and we need some unique identifier for it. So I've used the ID here. We're gonna just grab this element with this here. So document dot get. Oh, whoops, sorry, forgot it. Let's name it. Let's just do card, right? And then this will basically just get it, this element here. So once I've done that, you pass that in here. So, okay. And following the documentation, what you gotta do is this is just the arguments for the chart. So DOM, the document element that we're using, is gonna be chart, right? So this here corresponds to this here. And so so this is our new chart instance, right? Now we can always customize it later, but now that we've done this, we can do vchart.render, and this will just render it onto the screen. So if I go open the localhost right here and I reload this, boom, there we go. This is the graph. And as you can see, if you hover over it, you've got the different numbers. Now we can always change this. It's incredibly dynamic and really nice to use. So say I wanted to make this 80. As you can see, that's 80. All the other values are still the same. Incredibly dynamic. Look at those animations too. Really cool. So reload, as you can see, and I can always change the x-axis as well. So you can say, I don't know, say we have another day, almost Monday, or something, right? You can always change these. You can always add other, more graphs or bars as well. So, just random more graphs as well. Incredibly dynamic. And yeah, so that is how you create a really simple bar chart with vchart, and hope that helps. If anything else is needed, again, their documentation is really easy to use. There's all these different charts that you can do as well, so pie charts, bar charts, etc. All these are really effective and really simple. So yeah.